Welcome to Smart Cherry's Thoughts. This is Sai from India.
I'm doing great. Firstly, thank you very much for accepting my invitation and accepting to be on my show.
Yeah, of course. Thanks for having me.
So, I've gone through a profile. I can see you're doing a lot of work. So, I thought to tell about your work to my audience.
Yeah, give me 1 second. Sorry, you're going. All right, that's better.
Yeah. So, can you please introduce yourself to my audience?
Of course. So my name is Nathalie Leenders, and I'm a senior Power Platform developer. And I've been in IT now for about 12 years. I'm actually a former hairdresser, turned IT about 12 years ago, and I never looked back. So that's me, and I live in the Netherlands. So if you hear a little bit of bit of an accent, that's the reason why.
So, why you become a IT specialist from hairdresser?
Yeah. So when I first started becoming a hairdresser, I liked it. I liked the creativity of it, but I wasn't really seeing a future in it. Like it's nice, but for doing that for 30, 40 years, I wasn't really uh, thinking of that. And I got back issues, like back and neck issues. So I could only do 2 clients, 3 clients a day, and that doesn't really work when you're a hairdresser. And then whenever the computer broke down, I could always fix it. So I was like, okay, wait a minute, maybe I need to go into IT. So I quit being a hairdresser after only a year. And I went to an open day at one of the schools, and I was like, well, this is interesting. I could do that. And then I did a 2.5 year IT school, and from there I started working. And yeah, that's that's about my journey, how I went from hairdresser to IT.
And what was your first job?
My very first job, I worked for a company that outsourced you to different companies as a contractor. And I actually rolled onto a change management position at an accountancy firm, and that was really nice. So they actually asked me to get my ITIL license or my ITIL exam. So at my very first start, in my very first 6 months of being an IT professional, I got my ITIL foundation. And from there, I learned change management, incident management. I learned how to escalate. I became uh, of authorization specialist on different types of authorizations that were required, and they really gave me an insight on how that worked. And then that company got taken over by a different company, and then they asked me if I wanted to be the on-site support manager, which I did. So then I learned second line support. I learned how to set up desks, all of that on the job. And from there, it just grew. And I've worked for, I think, 6 different companies through that contractor company. And my final one, where I currently work, they hired me internally after about 3 years. So I've been with that company now for 7.5 years almost.
So, what's your present role? What's your responsibility?
So right now I'm a senior Power Platform developer, meaning I work within a Power Platform. So it can be Power BI, it can be a virtual agent, it can be a Power App or a Power Automate flow. And we look at what the requirement is from the business, see if it fits within either the Power Platform or maybe within Azure, maybe somewhere else. And we develop a solution for them and we test it out and then bring it out to production. So we are fully going from uh, getting the requirements from the customer, figuring out a plan, developing it, testing it, the full application lifecycle management cycle.
So, how much experience you have in this role?
In this role, I started doing this about 2 years now. But when I first started working for my current company, which is Chemours, I started doing SharePoint design, SharePoint developer, and from there I learned InfoPath. I learned how to create workflows, and then I did Power BI because of my ITIL change management background. I started creating metrics and things like that, but then I really learned how to automate things and how to automate emails and approvals, and from there it grew. And my company had a position open on the automation team, and somebody called me like, hey, you would be perfect for it. Do you want to interview for it? And I was like, sure. I mean, I like doing Power BI, so let's go for it. But I didn't really know what the Power Platform was. I didn't know any Power App. I didn't really know what the full function would entail. But since I had experience with SharePoint, I had experience with InfoPath and doing workflows and Power BI, that kind of led me on to being hired on the automation team. But then I really had to learn, like, what is a Canvas app? What's a model-driven app? How do I create a flow? How does the logic behind it works? Because it was very different from its predecessor with InfoPath, SharePoint Designer flows and things like that. So I really had to learn on the job for my very first internal client. Like, how does this work? How can I do this? And I've been very fortunate to have guidance from the team. I did a lot of app in a day, dashboard in a day, those types of trainings, and it really helped me in learning. But it's been interesting because I didn't really know how to actually do the work that I was hired to do. So that was my first 6 months even was just me trying out new things every day, looking at blog posts, looking at videos, trainings, and just going through it and having guidance from my colleagues. And yeah, that's how I got started. Now fast forward almost 2 years into the job, I'm now a senior developer. I have my own blog, I have my own sessions that I do. So the whole Power Platform is constantly changing. I mean, it's Microsoft, so every single day there's almost a new update or a new change or a new function or a new way of doing things. So I always every time I learn something on the job, I try and make a blog post out of it. Like, hey, this is new. This is how it works now. You can also do this by doing this, this, and that. And it's constantly changing, constantly evolving. So you really have to be open to learning. You will never know everything. You will never be the full expert because it's every single day there's new things coming out.
What are your technical skills?
So I always say I'm not a technical person, but my husband would very much disagree. So when I tell him things like, hey, I'm doing this and that, and I'm showing him something, and he just looks at me like, you are technical. So my technical skills are I'm pretty good at low code, no code. So the Power FX, Power Automate flows, the logic behind that. But I'm not necessarily a pro coder like C# or Visual Studio Code. I'm kind of dabbling in GitHub and coding that. But as far as technical things, I'm more on the user interface side of things. I'm more on the design. I'm more on the visuals. So more creating Power BI visuals, creating aesthetically pleasing Canvas apps, but I'm not necessarily on that whole deep uh, architectural DLP policy. That's DLP, data leakage prevention. I'm not really sure, but all of those types of things, that's not really my forte. So there's this whole admin side, whole architecture side of the Power Platform. I kind of know how to do it. I know what it is, but I tend to stick more to the functional side of the job.
So the businesses that you help for, what kind of requirements that comes to you?
It can be a reservation app. Let's say they want to be able to reserve for a specific training day. They want to see how many people sign up to trainings, or it can be a repository where product information is stored, or it can be it can be anything. I cannot really go deep into the details because that's all classified. But yeah, it can be anything the company wants to have automated. For example, somebody does a certain job every single day for 2 hours. We can check if that can be automated. So it can be repetitive steps that somebody does in a certain system, or it can be an email that gets sent out whenever something new with a specific keyword comes in, or it can be creating an app that does a certain function that they want. So it kind of really depends on what comes in.
So all the time that requirement comes, do you have those skills?
That depends. So we are quite a big team. So our team is all divided with specific skills. So for example, if it involves SAP, it will most likely go to my colleagues because I don't have any experience with SAP. But if it involves something with Power BI visuals s- and and a Power App, it will most likely go to me. Or if it's heavy in RPA and robotic process automation, it will go to my other colleague who is brilliant at that. So it kind of really depends on what comes in and what's needed.
So you came from non-technical background. Now you are a technologist. You understand how things, the process and the flow goes and works in an application.
Yeah.
So how do you define yourself, the non-technical person in you coming into technology? Now you are technologist.
Yeah, so I think it's more in terms of being open to learn and open to sharing knowledge. So in terms of being from going from non-technical to technical, I don't really know what classifies as technical anymore. So let's say somebody creates a Power App and it's low code, no code. I wouldn't necessarily say they weren't technical. It's just a different way of using technology. So I think it's less black and white of non-technical versus technical, because right now Microsoft also is really encouraging citizen developers, meaning people from regular business, somebody that works in a lab or somebody that works in security or in hotel management. They can create a Power App as well, but it doesn't mean that they are not technical. So yeah, it's a bit of a shift nowadays. And even with ChatGPT or even Copilot that's been introduced, you can tell Copilot to create an app for you. So it's all of those things taken into account. That's
You're working on Microsoft products and services, and what do you think that these products and services are helping and solving problems of human beings?
Yeah, so Microsoft is really open to feedback. So if you have anything within the product that you think requires any improvement, you can actually submit an idea or get in touch with product groups, and they will listen to you. So that's that's what I really like about working with Microsoft products, and they're all integrated as well. So you can connect from Azure to the Power Platform to Microsoft Office using a Graph API, and it's all connectable. So it's not necessarily all different software programs. You really have to work deep into API connections and things like that. And anytime there's something, for example, I'm currently encountering something that's not working within a Microsoft form, and I know how to reach the correct people or submit an idea like, hey guys, this is something we would like to see. Can you make that happen? And then maybe within the next 6 months it will be on the roadmap, and they will look at it, they will work on it. So that's what I think sets Microsoft apart. So it's constantly
So,
changing, as I mentioned.
so how do you adapt to this constant change?
What I do is I'm very active on Twitter in the community, and I follow a lot of people that do blogs. I follow a lot of MVPs who are Microsoft most valuable professionals. They all have the internal know-how, so they know when something new is coming out. And I just try and keep up, because there's so much. There's something announced at a summit, at a conference, or an MVP is able to share something new. So I think I follow around 500 people on Twitter that are constantly sharing new things, and every time I see something new, I will try it out and I will also share it, or share it internally within the company, like, hey guys, this is new, can we use this? Yeah, it's just we just try and keep up, because it is so much.
What is your development or the growth secret? What qualities that help you to be where you are today?
Yeah, so as I keep saying, being open to learning. So when I first started with the Power Platform, I looked at different exams, and I figured, well, I could try and do my Power Platform developer exam, PL 400, which I don't recommend you start with. It's the most difficult one. But there's so many different exams and learning paths out there that really help you grow. Or there are Microsoft in a day workshops where you dedicate 7 or 8 hours of your day, follow training with guidance on how to create an app or how to set up a virtual agent bot. And there's many different ways of growing in that. So you can go from not knowing anything about the Power Platform, follow a few of those trainings, and you will know how to actually create an app or create a flow or create a bot. And uh, that's how I encourage people is to look at the learning paths, look at all of the exams, read the blogs, listen to the videos. There's so much learning material out there, and if you have a question, the Microsoft community is so active on Twitter. If you do hashtag Power Platform, hashtag sharing is caring, uh, what are the other ones? Community rocks, community love, all of those things. There's always somebody there that has either had that same issue and knows the answer, or knows somebody that can help you with that issue. For example, I had something that wasn't working with a virtual table. I wanted to have a drop down, but drop downs aren't currently supported. And somebody reached out to me like, hey, you could try and do a plugin or try and do a PCF component. I was like, okay, I don't know how that works. Can you show me? So there's always people out there willing to help you. And I also hope to be one of those persons with my website. And I have a contact form and everything, that if somebody has a question on something, just reach out. And there are so many awesome people out there to help.
In these 12 years, you saw the evolution of the technology. You saw the change, the
Mhm.
constant change, and you are being in it and you are the evidence for that change. You know
Yeah.
what happened. You saw it. So, what you are observing the day that you started technology, what you observed and what is today? Because there are so many
Yes.
things that came into the market, into the
Hmm.
industry and helping human beings, mankind help in different ways.
Yeah.
ChatGPT, a lot of things today. So how do you define this constant change that you observe with your eyes?
Well, it was back when I first started doing IT. For example, Power BI was only this very elusive, very difficult product that only Power BI consultants that were externally hired could create a dashboard. And if you wanted to learn Java, you could actually go to Indonesia to learn Java. So it was a very different mindset of working with programs. That they were more functional consultants you had to hire to work with those types of products. And go going forward a few years, that's when the Power Platform first happened. I think the Power Platform now is about 7 years old. I hope. But it's constantly evolving and creating more of a user interface. So the Power FX that's in there, it's more focused. Um, it's been adopted from the language from Excel. So Microsoft Excel, that type of language, it's very similar to Power FX. So it's taking what people know and putting it into an app. So for example, you add a button, you can tell that button it needs to navigate to a different screen. So whenever somebody presses that button, it navigates. It's no longer these very long lines of code you have to write, or different arrays, or in C# or in Python or whichever. So it makes it very accessible. And now even with Copilot and Chat GPT or OpenAI or any of the other AIs out there right now, it really helps in opening it up for for the for people that don't have experience with it. They can just tell an AI to, hey, build this app for me. I need these and these columns. It needs to be able to this and that. And it can at least create a startup, but I will definitely be seeing in the near future that it can just do a whole functional app for you. Now, that doesn't mean that it will take over people's jobs. So my job as a Power Platform developer, I do Power BI, I do Power Apps, I do Power Automate. I'm not scared that within 5 or 10 years, my job will disappear, but it will change. So maybe we will be guiding people on how to use the systems or how to develop themselves, or maybe there's different integrations that's upcoming. But yeah, as I keep saying, it's changing so much. It's not really easy to say how it will evolve in the next 5 to 10 years. But in the past 15 years, I've really seen a massive change. I mean, at my education, I had to install software using 12 different CD-ROMs back then to actually install software. And now you just download a file, you hit next, and it's there. So or even go to a website, hit start, and the program is there with software as a service or those types of things. So it's really interesting, and it's such a dynamic um, work area to be in that it's never boring. My days are never the same in developing something. So that's what I that, that's what I like about it the most.
So this 12 years of technology experience, how this experience influenced you and impacted your way of thinking?
Yeah, so when I first started in IT, I wasn't really good with logic. I didn't really know if you had a certain type of code or a certain type of Excel formula. I had no clue how all of that worked. Excuse me, my what I was saying is if somebody else can do it, why shouldn't I be able to do it? So I kind of changed my whole mindset to it's not just other people that are really smart and able to do something. Like if they are that smart, then maybe I can try it. I mean, I wouldn't know if I don't try it. And so far, I was really afraid that once I had to learn code, that I would run away screaming because me and logic didn't really mix. And then when I actually started doing a little bit of code and it worked, I was like, wait a minute, this other person shows me how to do it, and it's actually not that difficult. Like maybe I can do this. And so far I haven't run away screaming yet, and I've done things I didn't even think I would be capable of, let alone doing. So that's really how my mindset changed. It went from doing password resets, fixing somebody's printer, to me actually being an application developer. Whenever somebody asks me like, hey, what what do you do for a living? Most people that are non-IT don't really know the Power Platform, so I just tell them like, hey, I'm an application developer now, and I never thought in a million years I would utter those words. So that's really how it changed for me.
So observing a user interface of different applications, what you have understood.
I lost you again, Sai.
Yeah,
Okay,
I
you're
was,
back
yeah,
now.
I was asking you that uh, how user interface have changed, how people started interacting with user interface of different applications today, because you saw the difference that is happening constantly.
Mhm. Yeah, so I think it's more in a change of mindset. So before you really had to go into file, go deeper into different options to do something, and all of the user interfaces have really grown to be more user friendly. So it's a lot easier to actually do the things you want to do without having to go really deep into even writing it went from writing a command to pressing a button. So it's a lot easier for people to actually use the software. I mean, in the past, when I was 5 or 6 and I had to start up a video game on DOS. I had to write a command to start a game, and now you just open it up or you go to a browser and you play a game. So that's really how technology has evolved, and all of the user interfaces are really evolving. I mean, when I create a Power App, I really look at how does it work for this person opening up the app. What do they need? What type of buttons or functionality do they need? Is this easy for them? Does it make sense? I mean, uh, I would think that putting a cross to close the screen on the top right corner is easy for me, but does it work for the user? Do they want to have it smack in the middle? I mean, it really depends on whatever somebody wants, and that's the beauty of doing a Canvas app. You can really define the user interface for this person. You can show them, like, do you want to have it there? No, top left corner. You just drag it up to the top left corner and it's there. So that's how easy all of the interfaces are getting.
So generally, can you mention, you don't need to go deeper and tell how you did, but generally what client needs, what clients that you interact or that you work with, the architecture or their applications, it can be different. But can you tell, because I'm not taking the people who are into technology like learning, they will know how things work in real time with
Mhm.
your words.
Yeah. So it can be that somebody has an application and they're saying, hey, this application is 20 years old, 30 years old, it's outdated. Can you replace this for me? Can you mimic what this is doing into an app? So that can be one of the use cases, that somebody wants something existing and and mo- moving it, migrating it into something new. Or it can be some a requirement, and they would tell you like, hey, I need this system. It needs to be able to do this and that. This is the output. I want to have it done each month. And then you really have full design freedom in actually developing something for them, and you can actually check, hey, is this, can I do this through a portal, or a portal through a Power Page, or is this a Canvas app? Is this a model-driven app? You can really focus there. Or is it very much business driven, what they want? Is it tied to different data rules? Then it's maybe a model-driven app. Do you have any freedom in whatever they want? And they will tell you like, hey, I want to have an app that can send me a meme every Friday. I mean, it happens. And you can actually think, okay, that doesn't necessarily need to be an app. I can just do a Power Automate flow that triggers every Friday at a specific time to send you a meme. So that's the whole difference in figuring out what somebody wants, and if it fits, and if you can create it. I mean, maybe they have a requirement that doesn't work within a Power Platform, and maybe it needs to be within Azure, but then you can maybe check with somebody that has Azure knowledge, like, hey, does this work within your system? Because for us it doesn't. And that's where the technical architects come in. So I'm a developer, but I do have assistants from different architects, and I can tell them like, hey, I have this requirement. I don't know how to do this. Do you have any suggestions? So that's also the difference. You are never alone. You will always have other people assisting you. Maybe it's not within the company, maybe it's from your manager, maybe it's within the community or from product owners. There's always assistance out there. So if you don't know something, that's perfectly fine, because there is so much out there. Maybe what you're thinking could fit in a Power App needs to be a Logic app within Azure. It yeah, it just it helps to get a second opinion from a colleague or an architect, or maybe not just a Power Platform architect, or from a technical architect, or whichever. So that's my advice and how I actually approach things. I mean, it's okay not to know everything.
So you are the person who knows how products and services in Microsoft works. You know how internally things works and helps the business or company. And also you understand the business side of the technology, how business can be developed using the technology that you have, which is provided by Microsoft. It can be products or services. So in this 12 years, you understood the business side of the technology. Also, you understood the development of a
Yeah.
software.
Yeah, it also helps that whenever we develop something for somebody, we actively work with them and asking them like, hey, does this fit with your business need? How does your process actually work? Show me what you want to have automated, and then we can see if it fits. So maybe I get a request from somebody within, we have titanium technology, TT. Maybe I would get something from their business unit. I could get a request, but I have no clue what they actually do. I mean, I do, but as an example. And then I would just tell them like, how does your business work? Can uh can you show me what you want to have done? And then we can record that, and I can review that, and then I can actually see and build and develop together with them. So every time I have something prepared, I can show them like, hey, does this work? Are we missing something? Can we test this? And that's how that's that's how we approach things. The best advice I can give to anyone is don't assume you know everything. Always ask and ask for more information, and then set up your plan and start working on it.
So I'm sure in these years you might have worked with different teams, and tell me how the teamwork helps in
Mhm.
delivering the great product or service.
Yeah, so I've worked in with Power Platform. We are a globally dispersed team. So my nearest colleague is in Spain, and my nearest colleague after that is in the US and in India. So we always work virtually in Teams meetings or in chat messages, and we have different weekly calls just to make sure that everybody knows what we're working on and if somebody needs any help. But it really differs from working locally with a team that you can just stand up or go to somebody's desk and ask them for help. So I think now after COVID, I think a lot of people work remotely. I mean, I go to the office once every 2 weeks just to say hi to our local office, but I don't have any direct colleagues there. So for me, it has always been for virtually for Teams meetings. I mean, my manager, I've never met her in person, so that's the new way of working, I guess, after COVID.
So how do you find a solution for any problem?
Ask, just ask. If you don't know anything, ask for advice. Ask your manager, ask an architect, ask the business, and be open. As I said, be open to learning, be open to growing, and yeah, just ask people if you don't know anything.
And what level of knowledge you have in what you're doing?
So I'm considered, well, if you look at my Microsoft exam certificates, I'm considered a Power Platform administrator, or what's it called, expert. That doesn't sound very expert-like, but I'm a Power Platform expert. But I would say I'm more of a mid-level developer, knowing a little bit of code, because there are so many people out there that have actual that work daily with the admin center, with different policies. They go really deep, or they write custom components, or they go even deeper into all of the code. I would say they are more the experts, but technically speaking, I do have my Power Platform Architect exam, so I'm considered an expert. But I think the word expert also implies that you know everything, and as I said, you never know everything. So yeah, I'm more of a mid-level person.
Are you a logical or emotional person?
Emotional, definitely.
But you are doing a logical work.
Yes. Well, I'm more of a visual person, and doing a Power App or doing a Power BI dashboard is very visual. So there is a coding component to it that you sometimes need to write a little bit of code. But if you press on a button and it works, for me that's very visual. So that's also what I like about doing Power Apps or doing a Canvas app for somebody. I can give it a theme. I can give it drop shadows. I can do all sorts of fun interface stuff with it. That's really, really visual. So, and me being an emotional person, I don't know how that fits into this whole job, but maybe it helps me relate to other people and to business requirements better than being just a very technical, logical person. So,
Talking with people, communicating with machine, computer. Which one is easy and which one is tough?
I think talking to people is a whole lot easier for me at least, because I like having the interaction and learning how somebody thinks and how somebody works. And with a machine, it's very you input something and it outputs something and that's it. But with people, I mean, that's why I started doing different sessions, speaking at conferences, working with user groups. I have my own blog. I'm active in the community. It's because I like helping other people. I like having that interaction and that sense of doing something for somebody. So yeah, that's
So your first profession as a hairdresser, which you wanted to do that because of some reason you cannot able to continue it
Mhm.
all your life. That creativity that you used to use in designing things there, that person in you is helping you today
Mhm.
in doing
Yeah.
technology.
Definitely. I mean, with hairdressing, whenever somebody sits in your chair and tells you like, "Hey, I want to have a different hair color or I want to have a different hairstyle," and you go over it with them. So, I mean, do you like purple? Do you like red? Do you like blonde? What would you like? It's very similar to doing a Power App for somebody, because if somebody asks you, I want to do an app, then I can tell them, would you like to have it with the company colors? Would you like to have a dark mode? Would you like to have red accents? So it's similar in a way.
So I like your color. I tried that color too.
Yeah, you should. Yeah, it's I've had every hair color imaginable with me being a former hairdresser. Uh, if the only one I haven't had yet is rainbow, which I really, really want to do, but my husband is kind of hesitant to it. But I've had every other color you can think of.
So apart from your job, what kind of contribution you do? It can be creating
Yeah.
content or helping somebody through any mediums.
So I have my own blog. So this past September, I attended the Power Platform conference in Florida through my company, and I was looking at all of these awesome people giving sessions and sharing information and being so nice and open in sharing that, and I was like, I want to do that. So then from October, November, I started doing my very first blog post on the Microsoft free 365 blog, and I figured, okay, I want to do this myself. Am I more a video person? Am I more a blog person? What do I want? Well, I'm not really a video person. So I figured I would do a blog. So I started my own website, and from there, I did a demo in the Microsoft community call in November. And after my first blog there, I got accepted to speak in Tallinn in Estonia in February. So I flew there. I did my very first session, and people were really, really supportive. Like, hey, you got this. You can do this. So I did a session, and it was for, I think, 40 or 50 people. And I just started doing that more and more. So I I'm active on Twitter in a community. I have my own website. I do speaking engagements. I do demos. And I just try and put anything that I can out there. Like, hey, I've discovered something. This is how it works, or this is really cool. You should try this if you're interested. So those are just a few of the things that I'm doing. And then sometimes interviews like this. I did something for testpreptraining.com on Microsoft exams. I'm in the after movie of the Cloud Tech Town Hall in Tallinn. And everything, whenever someone asks me to share or participate, or I reach out, I try and do as much as I can just to share the love and the information and everything.
So listening to different experts from different parts of the world in conferences, what is the purpose of talking like that? What what they want to do? What everybody wants to do?
It's I think it's all about sharing knowledge. I mean, the whole motto is sharing is caring. It's whenever somebody has a very specific trick. In the past, there were consultants that really kept their own work close. They wouldn't share. They would be like, I cannot show you, but I can do it for you. And I think that changed into I know how to do this. Here is my code. Here's how I did it. So you can do it as well. I mean, I had somebody, Penn Warner, who did an awesome model-driven app on football statistics, and he used specific API to a chart in a way that was very dynamic. And I was like, how did you do that? I don't know how I can do it. And he was like, oh yeah, sure. Here is my code. I was like, wait, what? You just gave me your code on how you did that. And I thought that was so awesome that I asked him like, hey, is it okay if I, with your permission, since it's your code, your method, can I reshare this on my blog so that other people can also enjoy and see it? And he said yes, and I did a blog. And that's the whole mentality of people also speaking at conferences or doing user group sessions. We all like to share information and share knowledge and uplift others. And yeah, I think that's just awesome.
So why this physical infrastructure need to have an user interface and user interaction with it?
Well, it really depends on what the ask is of that software, because sometimes you can have something unattended, like every Friday it needs to retrieve information from a system and send it over. That doesn't need an interface. However, excuse me. However, if it's something that requires multiple options, or somebody may do this thing one day but something else the other day, then it would need an interface, or at least buttons somebody can push to do something. So it just really depends on what the requirements are.
But as a DevOps engineer, I see one user interface every day, which is CLI.
Yeah.
So which is black and which is not colorful like your hair, but still we are doing it.
Yeah.
So are we with this working with cloud? We are the experts who are directly interacting with the physical infrastructure and trying to manage and maintaining the physical infrastructure of different applications in the world. We are directly interacting and we are calling this as automation.
Yeah. Yeah, so I think that's the difference with being a DevOps engineer. You adapt already existing applications,
Yes.
or you add functionality to something that's already existing. And us within a Power Platform, we develop a fully new application for somebody. So we can do how we call it as a wave. So let's say there's a wave 2 for an application. It's adding functionality to an already existing application. But we just do it through poweraddict.com. We go to that solution. We go into development first. We modify it. We push it over to test. So we don't really push into the application itself, not before it's all changed within development. And of course, being a DevOps engineer, you also most likely have dev, test, and prod. But it's for us, it's more of a visual user interface instead of going deep. I mean, the Power Platform has the capability to go deep. You can open it in Visual Studio, you can open it in command line, you can write custom components, but it's not usually necessary. So most of the Power Platform is low code, as I said. So you you can go deep and write custom plugins, write custom code, but for most of the things, the Power Platform itself already has the functions built in, so that for most of the requirements, you don't need to go as deep as command line.
So the technology age is 30 to 40 years, and you are 12 years. You are in it for 12 years, and you
Hmm.
saw what is happening. So this cloud, we are trying to first we started directly interacting with the physical infrastructure. There was no user interface for any technology company that is creating any technology product or service. Once the user interface came, people started using it and they started designing it, they started coloring it, they started designing, doing the architecture in different ways. Today, the applications in the internet have different way of presenting it. So you are seeing it and you are expert on it. So, and again, we as a DevOps engineers or today's technology experts are still again going back to the technology that used in the beginning days, which is directly interacting with the infrastructure, doing automation. So how do you define this? Do we need
Uh,
again a user interface in future?
I don't know. I just simply don't know. I mean, everything is changing all of the time. I don't know what my job will look like in the next 5 years, 10 years. I mean, I do have my own corporate career planning things. I mean, I don't plan to be a Power Platform developer for the next 20 years or 30 years. I do want to grow uh, towards management. But yeah, I mean, maybe by then it will be fully automated, it will be fully AI, and this whole job will no longer exist. But it's 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 changing so much that I don't know what the future will look like in 5 years, in 10 years. So I don't know how to answer that.
So at last, what is your observation about my work?
About your work, well, as I mentioned, I really love sharing information with people and what what you're doing. I mean, you have so many uh, different interviews with people from many different companies, and it shows that we are all human. We are all humans doing different jobs, and it's really nice to see that you actually take the time to reach out to people and to talk to them and get to know them and get their philosophy and way of thinking out there, so that people actually see, like, hey, this person is this very big up there person. For I think you did an interview with somebody from Amazon, like, hey, this is how the business actually works, and it's not this big secret thing anymore. And that's what I like about it. I mean, being so open and honest, and everybody sharing that we are all just persons doing doing our job and being out there, and it just sheds a light on that. So that's what I think is really awesome about what you're doing.
I did masters in software engineering, also bachelor's in computer science and engineering. Right now, I'm doing the DevOps engineering work. That's my full-time work. Apart from this full-time work, I'm interviewing experts like you who are already in the industry for a long time, saw things work, how things work, and how to solve problems in different ways. Me capturing this information from different people from different parts of the world, from different industries, not only technology people, I also interviewed authors, police officers, doctors, filmmakers. I also went to non-technical side and tried to know what they are doing in their lives and trying to explore them. So how this combination of everything or collecting information from everywhere on the planet, how this experience is going to helpful for me if I work in IT in coming days.
Well, I would say it will really help that you're open to other people's opinion and how they work, and you can actually see how other people approach certain things. So, for example, with me explaining how the Power Platform works, how developing a solution works. I mean, aside from the technical bit with campus apps, model-driven apps, and whichever, you'll be able to actually get started on the job and just think like, okay, I have somebody that's calling me, they want to do something. I could help them. I mean, I did it and I'm a former hairdresser. So if I can do it, you can do it.
So thanks for your valuable words. I'll show this feedback in my system. Definitely it
Yeah.
helps. So can
Sounds
I put
good.
this video on my YouTube channel with your
Yes.
permission?
Yes, definitely.
Also, can I put this audio and video clip on my podcast, website, internet, social media, everywhere with
Yes.
your permission?
Yes. Everywhere.
So can you share your online presence to my podcast listeners so that they can learn from you?
Yeah, of course. So my website is nathalieleenders.com. It's Nathalieleenders. It's a bit of a complicated name, but my Twitter handle is Nath Leenders, Leenders. But I can also share this through different links as well. And I do have Facebook, but I'm not very active on there. So it's mainly just my website and Twitter that I'm active on.
I'll put your, if you share your links, I'll put in the description of this video also on the screen as well. Also, people who visit my website, I'll put your work there with your links
All right.
and with your biodata. People who find
Sounds
my
good.
website and see what you're doing and also can learn from you because you also mentioned that you are sharing your knowledge through your blogs.
Yep. Yeah. And if somebody wants to catch me in person, I will be in Vegas in October presenting at the Power Platform Conference. So if somebody is attending that, don't hesitate to say hi.
Yeah, one last question is there will be a lot of experts who are in the industry, who are in the top level, who are who are the leaders of technology from different parts of the world will be listening to you. Do you have anything to tell to them about technology from your experience that you learned things should change or whatever advice or suggestion that you want to give?
So I would say be open to feedback from the teams that are working with the products and developing, or the product groups, because sometimes whenever somebody's really high up, they may not see something that's at the lowest level that requires attention. So just be open to feedback and be open to somebody that could be an intern, but if they have a really good idea, then be open to it, listen to it. And even though this person may be a CIO, I mean, if the CIO gets a really good idea from that intern, it could really improve the product and the service. So that's the advice that I would give.
Definitely, it helps and it reaches everywhere. Thank you very
Mhm.
much, Natalie, for your valuable time and sharing some of your experiences and answering some of my questions.
You're welcome. Thank you so much for having me.
It's an honor. Take care.
The honor is mine. Take care. Bye.
Bye.